But there's one thing that people need to understand and remember. And I hope that anybody that is a debater takes this advice as well. For those that aren't debating, that want to go into it, listen to this. And those that are debating and think of themselves as elite debaters should also listen to this. You are only as good as the team you have around you. If there is no shame in asking for help, none whatsoever. Bhai, ilm hasil karna hai to fir Cheen bhi jao. This is the words of the Prophet ﷺ, that if you need to attain knowledge, go to China even. So what is the problem in attaining knowledge from my friend, from my brother, from my elders, from my youngsters? I have no problem in that. I still learn. I don't understand social media. I get people that are much younger than me, people that are young enough to be my children. I tell them to do the social media. Meri bas ki baat hi nahi hai. I have no problem in accepting it. Agar koi kahe ke mera ego hurt hota hai. So what? Then why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you debating? For what purpose? First, understand what is the purpose of debating. Is it for your own nafs? Or are you trying to convey a particular message? If you are trying to convey a particular message and win a particular argument, the first thing you must do is accept that you do not know everything. That is wisdom.
Yes.
And that's wisdom. But to be wise is then to find the information and ask for the help. That experience, it took, people may say that I just stood up and I went and I spoke. No, I prepared for months. I prepared for months because in the beginning we knew that Jaishankar, who was the Minister of External Affairs, was going to be there. We knew that Major Gaurav Arya, who was a former military man and an avid speaker and public speaker in the international news circuit, very dangerous man. We knew that Major Gaurav Arya was going to be there. Aditya Raj Kaul is a Kashmiri Hindu, also a journalist, very well versed, and a rabid dog. And also Vivek Agnihotri. You mentioned the film about Article 37. He made the Kashmir Files, a purely propaganda piece that the people saw, that the international world saw. These were the 4 people that were originally supposed to come.
I can feel the heat that you were feeling at that moment.
It was profound. It was intense. At that time that we were thinking that we were going to be up against these 4 people, particularly an external minister who regardless of whether he is Indian or not, regardless of whether he is a Muslim or not, but in his tenure, he has been very effective for his country. So a person can feel a little bit intimidated that Jaishankar, and it's not just one, then you have all of these other
other established names.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that, and this is not me saying this, Jaishankar pulled out after Khwaja Asif Saab. He was supposed to be debating as well, and Khwaja Asif Saab pulled out because Jaishankar pulled out for whatever reason. But the interesting thing is that Vivek Agnihotri, Major Gaurav Arya, Aditya Raj Kaul, on record pulled out of the Oxford debate because I was going to be there. They didn't want to debate me. So on the one side, I had prepared so much. But on the other side, these 3 Indians were not prepared to debate. One Muzammil against those 3, they were not prepared. So alhamdulillah, kabhi-kabhi ye bhi hota hai that you may feel fear or you may be antagonized or intimidated. But so are your enemies. And 3 of them were not prepared to compete or debate one of me. But alhamdulillah, we still won that debate. When I walked into that hall, majority of the audience were Indians. Majority. I could feel the anger, the animosity, the hatred. I could feel it in that room. They tried to interrupt me when I started to speak, and I shut them down. I was prepared to lose because I knew that
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. I was very prepared. We won, surprisingly. I was shocked. I was more shocked than anybody else. But at the end of the debate, Indians were coming up to me and they were saying that we've heard the Indian narrative. We've heard the Pakistani narrative. We've never heard the Kashmiri narrative. And they voted, Indians voted in favor of me, of my argument, simply because the Kashmiri narrative was pure. We did it with akhlaq. We did it with a dalil. We did it with intellect.
Argument.
With argument. We didn't shout. We didn't scream. We didn't say, oh, you people are bajit. We didn't do any of that. We did it with class. And that's why we won. We showed akhlaq.
It's a very famous quote in public speaking that rather raising your voice, raise your arguments.
Exactly.
So I can feel that you actually won that specific debate even the hall full of animosity, full of enemies, you still won that debate because of your intellectual capacity, because of the readiness, because of the grind that you did to yourself, that I am going to face my enemy and I am going to beat him, knock him off, just because of my preparation, the preparation that I have been doing since ages.
Exactly. I mean, it's my entire life story. It's every Kashmiri's life story. It was a burden on my shoulders that how am I going to effectively represent the people of Kashmir? That is a huge burden of responsibility. And then the burden of knowing that who my opposition is going to be. But most importantly, the other thing that one of the reasons why we won is because, and I keep on repeating this, the more that we try to emulate our religion and our prophet that gave us guidelines, in terms of our demeanor,
Alhamdulillah,
of how to speak, even to your enemy, of how to behave, even to your most hated person. It changes when we are soft. Obviously, we don't have to be soft all the time. You have to be able to assess the room, assess the audience, and most importantly, assess your opposition of what they need. You know, when you have a team of people, you may know this, as many other people, team leaders know this as well, that some people, aggression works for them to motivate them, and some people बड़े प्यार से उनके साथ पेश आना है क्योंकि वो aggression नहीं चलती है. So assessment is extremely important. It isn't about what you know. It is about what you can assess in that moment and how you can adapt. That is the most important thing.